Hola muchachos, ¿qué tal? Buenos días. Aquí tienen el horario para hoy, lunes el 3 de abril. Hope you all had a fantastic spring vacation and are ready to get back to it in this final fourth quarter home stretch of the academic year. No homework was due for today. Due for next class is your interview activity, Descanso de Primavera. We'll get to that in just a moment. Let's take a look at the daily objectives. Share what we used to be like when we were younger and what toys we like to play with using the imperfect past tense. Recognize vocabulary within an authentic, auditory, written context by answering text-dependent questions, and then utilize key vocabulary to communicate interpersonally with classmates about what they were like when they were little. And we're going to be doing all of that in Chapter 4a, which will begin today. Let's start with the warm-up first and foremost. ¿Qué hiciste durante las vacaciones? The question that everybody is asking in this first day back from spring break. ¿Qué hiciste durante las vacaciones? What did you do during the vacation? For today's warm-up, provide a short answer response indicating 3 things you did during spring break. Remember, you guys are going to use the pretérito, just to jog your memory on that, as it's probably been a few weeks since we last looked at this. El pretérito, this is the tense that we've been focused on, or we were focused on for all of third quarter. This is the simple past tense, the preterite tense. It's used to talk about actions that were completed in the past. In this case, talking about things you did over spring break. So there you have your endings for AR, ER, and IR verbs. Mirar is your example AR verb. Aprender is your ER verb. And escribir is your IR verb. So you have the endings for each of those 3 in the preterite. If you're talking about yourself, as you will be for your warm-up question, more than likely using the yo form, well, remember, car-gars are verbs have that spelling change that happens only in the yo form. You can see that articulated there on page 110. And then just a reminder, verbs that have a stem change in the present do not have a stem change in the past. So verbs like jugar, if you want to say how you played video games or sports. Dormir, right? If you want to say you slept a lot during spring break. Those are stem changing verbs in the present that do not have a stem change in the past. If you want to talk about where you went, using the verb ir. Remember, the verb ir is irregular in the preterite as well. You can find that on page 140. Yo fui, to talk about where you went. Nosotros fuimos, to talk about where you and your friends or you and your family went. So that is your warm-up question for today. 3 things you did over spring break. For example, yo pasé mucho tiempo con mi familia en casa. Yo miré muchas películas al cine. Yo fui. Again, the verb ir, irregular in the preterite. Yo fui a muchos lugares diferentes con mi familia y amigos. And technically want to include accents for verbs conjugated in the yo form in the past. All right, so once we have that warm-up knocked out, next we're going to go ahead and tackle that interview activity. We did this when we came back from spring break, or excuse me, when we came back from winter break. You guys did an activity very similar to this. However, you guys weren't using the preterite. You guys were using the present because we hadn't gone over the preterite tense yet. So the assignment should look very similar. The instructions to the assignment that we did when we came back from winter break are very similar. The only difference, muchachos, you guys are using the preterite tense now. Now you have the ability to talk about what you did in the past. So using the grammar that I just went over with you, use your warm-up responses to go ahead and fill out those first 4 boxes. Numbers 1 through 4 are going to be verbs in the first person singular, in the yo form, right? To talk about what you did over spring break. Number 5 is going to be in the nosotros form. So find you and someone else in the class that have something in common. Or if you even want to, you can talk about what you and your friends and you and your family did during the break as well. Ideally, someone that you have something in common with in class, but not necessary. You can talk about you and your friends or you and your family. What you guys did in the nosotros form during spring break. And then the whole premise of this assignment is to do what you guys are already doing in English, right? Talk with one another about your spring break and what you guys did. So for numbers 6 through 9, 11 through 14, you guys are going to ask one another, not in English, but in Spanish, ¿Qué hiciste? ¿Qué hiciste durante el descanso de primavera? Try it. What did you do during the spring break? They're going to respond to the question, sharing any combination or perhaps all 4 of their responses to numbers 1 through 4. And then what you're going to do, again, in each of those boxes, 6 through 9, 11 through 14, for each of the people that you speak with, you're going to write their name, and then you're going to transcribe what they say from the yo form to the él, ella, usted forms. Let me give you some examples. If they say, yo fui a Lake Tahoe, you're going to change yo fui to the él, ella form, which would be fue, right? Because you're talking about them, talking about what they did, telling me what they did during the break in the third person. So write their name, and then fue instead of fui, and then Lake Tahoe. For example, Cristina fue a Lake Tahoe. That's if they use the verb ir in their response. Or maybe they use a different verb, a regular verb. We'll go back to our regular endings on page 110. Dormí. I'm sure you're probably going to get someone who said that they slept a lot during the break, right? Yo dormí mucho. Transcribe it in the él, ella, usted form, and that would be Sebastián dormió mucho durante el descanso. If your partner says, yo comí, right? They said what they ate. Yo comí espagueti durante el descanso. Ryan comió espagueti durante el descanso. One more example. Yo jugué. Use a Kargar-Zar verb there. Yo jugué videojuegos. Maybe they gamed out during the break. Caitlin jugó videojuegos. Caitlin jugó videojuegos durante el descanso. So that's what you're going to do for boxes 6 through 9, 11 through 14. You're going to take the responses of each of the people that you speak to, just one person per box, write the name of the person in the box, and then transcribe what they say. Change it from the yo form to the él, ella, usted form. When you're done with that, for boxes 10 through 15, or excuse me, 10 and 15, find 2 people that had something in common and identify those 2 people, write their names, and then whatever that verb is, conjugate that verb in the ellos, ellas, ustedes form. So If Sebastian and Caitlin both slept a lot during the break, we're going to conjugate the verb dormir in the ellos, ellas, ustedes form. So that would be Caitlin y Sebastián durmieron. Dormieron mucho durante el descanso. Vincent y Caitlin jugaron. Jugaron videojuegos durante el descanso. Taylor y Stephanie comieron. Comieron espagueti durante el descanso. All right, and then you guys are going to take a picture of that. There's a handout that organizes these boxes to make it easy for you guys to write in your answers. Video instructions that I essentially just gave you. You can watch another video there. But a handout you guys can find here. It's a Word document. To print that out, fill it out, or you guys can just, number 1 through 15 in your notebook and put the title of this assignment, Interview Activity, Descanso de Primavera. But you're welcome to use that handout as a means of organizing your interview responses. All right, so that's due for homework. You guys saw that at the beginning of the agenda for today. Make sure that's submitted by the end of the next day we see each other. And then we're going to go ahead and dive into Chapter 4A for the rest of the class, which again is all about the imperfect tense. And as we remember or recall from our daily objectives, the whole objective of this unit is to talk about what you were like when you were little, right? If we learned the simple present to talk about things we did yesterday or last week or last month or earlier this morning, we're going to use the imperfect tense to talk about what things used to be like, or in this case, what we ourselves used to be like in the past. So it's the continuous past, right? Not just a particular moment in time, but a more general, broad reference to the past. So that's what this is all about. And then the theme is your childhood. Talking about what you were like when you were younger, the toys you used to like to play with, what you used to like to do when you were little, etc. Your family life. We're going to go to page 184, take a look at the objectives. Then we're going to watch a video practicing a little bit of the grammar and the vocabulary that you're going to be introduced to in this chapter. So, by the end of this chapter, you'll be able to listen and read about favorite childhood toys and elementary school experiences. Talk and write about what you were like as a child and your experiences in elementary school, and exchange that information about what you were like as a child with your classmates. Vocabulary-wise, toys, of course, and the verbs that we associate with playing. The grammar is what's called the imperfect tense, or the continuous past. We're going to look at the regular and irregular forms in the imperfect, and then indirect object pronouns. Last chapter we talked about direct object pronouns. Lo, la, los, and las. We'll have a mini lesson on indirect object pronouns. So let's take a look at the video. Page 86, I believe, has that video. In the first few pages, you have some vocabulary, a lot of cognates, y'all. Like I had said at the very beginning of the year, the further along we progress in the curriculum, the more examples of cognates that you will see, words that look like, in terms of the spelling, sound like, in terms of the pronunciation, and have the same meaning in English. A lot of cognates with the vocabulary, both toys and then activities as well. But we're going to look at this vocabulary in context. And forgive me, it's page 188. You have the video here. ¿Cómo era de niña? Is asking, what was she like as a girl? ¿Cómo se portaba Ana de niña? How did Ana behave as a little girl? ¿Y qué le gustaba a ella? What did she used to like? So we have Ana, Elena, Mama, Ignacio. And here are the questions that we're going to try to answer, and all the answers are directly in the video. Let's take a look at those on page 189. Number 1, ¿qué hacen Elena y Ana para una de sus clases? What are Ana and Elena doing? Hacer is the verb to do, right? So what are they doing for one of their classes? We're looking for a verb, right? An activity. Number 2, en la opinión de Ana, ¿cómo era ella de niña? In Anna's opinion, what was she like as a little girl? So similar to the present tense, in that ser, this is the verb ser, to be, in the imperfect, the grammar we'll learn this chapter. If ser is being used, we're looking for adjectives, right? To describe what Ana was like when she was little. Descriptive adjectives, characteristics. Number 3, ¿qué deciden ver los jóvenes? What do the young folks or teenagers or friends, joven is the adjective young, jóvenes is the noun for young people or teenagers, right? So what do the friends or the teenagers decide to watch? Number 4, según a su mamá, ¿cómo era Ana de niña? So number 2 and number 4 are very similar. Number 2 is talking about Anna's own opinion. Number 4, according to her mother, right? What does her mother say in terms of what Ana was like? But we're looking for adjectives as well for number 4. For number 5, según Ignacio, ¿llega Ana a clase a tiempo o tarde? According to Ignacio, does Ana arrive? Llegar is the verb to arrive or to get somewhere. Does she arrive to class on time or late? ¿Cuáles eran los juguetes favoritos de Ana? Juguetes kind of looks like the verb jugar, right? So if jugar is to play, this means toys. This is the noun form of the verb jugar. So what were, or what used to be Ana's favorite toys? ¿Qué coleccionaba Ana? What did Ana collect, or used to collect? And finally, number 8, similar to number 4, number 2, ¿cómo era Ignacio de niño? So we're looking for adjectives as well for number 8. All of the answers to these questions are in the text. If you're struggling to come up with a full, complete response, you can just pull fragments from the script. That's okay. Again, I would encourage you to use the question to formulate your responses in a full, complete sentence. What is the subject of the question? For number 8, it's Ignacio. For number 7, it's Ana. For number 6, it's the favorite toys of Ana. So start off with that subject, los juguetes favoritos de Ana. And then the verb that's in the question for number 6 would be eran. For number 7 would be coleccionaba. For number 8 would be era. ¿Cómo era Ignacio de niño? Ignacio era, and then the adjectives. ¿Qué coleccionaba Ana? What did Ana used to collect? Ana coleccionaba, and then the things she used to collect. ¿Cuáles eran los juguetes favoritos de Ana? What were Anna's favorite toys? Los juguetes favoritos de Ana eran, and then list her favorite toys. All right, so that's where we'll finish off for today, is answering those questions, the comprendiste questions on page 189. And then don't forget to submit your interview activity.